Chelsea then qualify for the knockout stages. Let's show you how they have done it in their group. Obviously, dropping those points against Flamengo, but in the end, it's okay. It's them and the Brazilian side who advance. Former Chelsea player Mario Melchiot is here. Mario, what was your big takeaway from a Chelsea perspective from this game?
Enzo Fernandez.
Oh.
I think when I watched the game, I think he kicked off well. I think they started kind of slow. There wasn't like there was a lot of speed in the game. I think also the weather and everything that's happening, you understand, to them. And I think being in preseason doesn't help, of course. But I think he kicked off really well. I mean, away from the free kick that he took, you could also see that, how will I say, I've seen him when I was there, when he just arrived, and everybody has the same problem. It's the pace of the game, and sometimes it doesn't go your way straight away. But I felt like, you understand, the way he left off the season, I felt he picked up that rhythm again. And that's why I think he's now started to show his importance for the team. And that's why I was watching him closely and enjoyed it watching him.
Delap, of course, so brilliant. The goalkeeper couldn't even bother to dive. Mario, how is he bedding in?
Yeah, no, for him, you know, when he scored the goal, people also have to understand that's why he's there.
What does all this mean? We talked obviously at length about Nico Jackson getting sent off in the manner that he did, Mario. Where do you foresee Jackson being at the start of this season? Will he be a Chelsea player or elsewhere?
I always said this, you know, like last season we talked about him a lot. And I said, like, competition needs to come. And when competition arrives, I think all of us, you understand, including the guys who are sitting next to you, we all dealt with competition. But dealing with competition the way Jackson at the moment is right now, I don't want to say that he's taking it on like that, because this is just an incident that happened to him. But it's not a smart way, because the way he got the red card, the moment when a new player comes, scores the goal, things are happening, setting up plays, and people are gelling in. You want to be part of that journey.
Do you know what? Maybe they need another young winger to add to the mix. Gittens looks like he's leaving Borussia Dortmund, wasn't in the game today, and heading to Stamford Bridge. You've seen a lot of him, Ali. Mm-hmm. How good is he, and what does he offer, and will he start?
Well, if you had asked me this question at the beginning of the Bundesliga season this past year, I would have said, yeah, this makes sense.
Right.
From Chelsea. And this makes sense from the perspective of Jamie Gittens as well, because he was a difference maker for Borussia Dortmund early on in the season. To be honest with you, it's because the performances haven't really called for it. It's not like when he comes on the field, he's active, he's dynamic, he's scoring goals, he's producing chances. That hasn't been the case. So consistency is a problem.
So what are Chelsea doing? What have they seen that you haven't?
Well, they're seeing the potential.
Right.
The potential
again,
of what...
Again.
And that's to your initial point. A young player with potential that hasn't quite made it in terms of being a consistent performer, a consistent producer, a consistent player. You cannot say that about Jamie Gittens. The high points of Jamie Gittens tend to be very high, but he tends to disappear as well. And I do think that at some point Chelsea has to bank on realized talent.
Yep.
On realized potential, because you may have all these young players, but you need pieces that actually blend all of this talent together, and usually that comes with experience. Chelsea may be very talented and may have a lot of players with potential, but how do you realize that potential when you don't have the experienced players to take these players along? That's where I think they're missing the point.
How long have we been talking like this?
Well, we've been talking about how they need experience to come in and kind of steady the ship.
Exactly. You need some bona fide finished articles in order to bring all the youngsters in. Mm-hmm. You can't bring another youngster in amongst guys who are still not quite reached where the level should be. So they're just compounding mistake by making another mistake. That's what it looks like.
When we have Frank on, Mario, he says the same thing. He says you need some experience within this Chelsea squad to guide the ship when things aren't going very well, or else you could continue to drift as they are.
Yeah, no, I agree with the guy said, because if you know, also when you come into a team, you want to look at certain players and you sometimes look for help. But if you are looking for help, while the ones that you are looking for help for I also need help, that's not gonna it's not gonna add to the game, because he comes in as a young boy, 20 years old. You understand? I know he's got an English background, but still, you understand? This kid comes in and kind of gonna look around and see like, hey guys, I just mentioned like literally a minute ago, I said Fernandez, 2 seasons he's been there, and now he's starting to develop to be himself. So what do you want to bring in a 20-year-old kid and maybe get lost there and takes also a couple of more years? We're not disputing about the talent that the kid has. He has the speed, he has a dribble. He has, he likes taking players on. No, we know that. But now we're talking about, this is something that they had done prior already. And now they have a lot of numbers. For me, now it comes down, I know you can try the young boys to come on, but still you have to be careful, because buying a lot, make us also know that you have an idea what you're doing. And sometimes I don't want it to be just a number.
Yeah, Mario, is there anything that would make you second guess going to Chelsea because of everything that we've just discussed, if you're Gittens?
My question will be, what's going to happen to the other wingers when I come?
Mm-hmm.
Because my question will be, because it will not come down to the question of like, look, I believe in myself as an individual, and I want to do a step forward, and I feel like, okay, I did my time maybe there where I am now in Dortmund, and now I want to go, my background, I want to go back to England, I'm playing in London, great club, okay, let's say that. But then the question comes now, only the wingers. I'm going to ask you, like, what is going to happen with, is Madueke going to stay? The rumors are going around. What's going to happen to Neto? What are you going to do? What are you guys' plans? So I know what to do if I come or if I make the decision to stay where I am.
So we asked Mario, when it comes to the end of the season, what would make him happy? What would be described as a successful campaign for Chelsea given the competitions that they're in? Let's take a look at what Mario said. 2nd or 3rd in the league, round of 16 in the Champions League, very generous. Quarterfinals of the FA Cup, and this is where Chelsea is now, basically, in Mario's eyes, a Carabao Cup side. Mario? Yes.
I said, so the Premier League is like, okay, they got to the Champions League, so the top 4, and it was like, they got just over the line. I think this season they need to make sure that they are part of that journey without just making it. When it comes to maybe the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, what I felt like they need to go for one cup that, has some silverware in this season. Going for the league, I said that already prior to this. I said last season, I wanted them to be Champions League. I didn't know it was going to be that hard, of course, but they made it. And this season that's coming, I don't put them as a team that's already going to fight for the title, because I felt like there's so much happening, so much investment, so much turbulence at the club. I think it needs to calm down even more than they already did. And then after that, they can look and go in after all the trophies that they want. But if I will put them like winning the Premier League, Champions League, I think that's a step too high for me.
More importantly, do we like Mario better with the hair just flowing like it was in that picture, or Mario with this look right now?
I don't know.
I prefer this.
I know what's happened to Mario's teeth in that picture. when you go to Chelsea. Chelsea are a weird one, aren't they?
God.
Yeah. Because last season, they were the best of a bad bunch. However you sell it, yes, they ended the season well, but overall, they made the most of other teams falling over each other.
Yep.
This season, Liverpool have done what Liverpool have done. Manchester City have strengthened.
Yep.
Arsenal, of course, have brought in new faces. So if you're Chelsea, it's almost you're playing for that 4th spot, aren't you?
I think if Chelsea can comfortably get the 4th spot, then that's a step forward, in my opinion.
Okay.
The fact, all the things you said, I mean, like there was little spells where they were great, and then they fell off the cliff, and then they were good for a couple, and then they went back again. So if they can get some sort of consistency, not just with the results, but with the lineup. I mean, I have no idea what the back 4 is going to be every time Chelsea steps on the field. I've got absolutely no idea. You don't know who they need a goalkeeper. So how do you get comfortably in the top 4 if after such a long period of time you still don't have a settled back line? I don't think that happens. So again, they're going to be fighting till the very end. But for me, that would be, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I want to comfortably get in the top 4. And if you can get an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, that's the bonus.
That's a nice bonus.
That's the bonus.